What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, and today, guys, we are here for World's Biggest Collectors, episode 53, the show where we bring on the biggest physical media collectors in the YouTube and social media spaces. And I have with me today a very special guest, Jeremy with Media Galore. He is newer to YouTube. He's had his channel for about a year now, does some great content, great reviews, great collection updates, just a variety of content on his channel. He is a big time collector as well, a huge, massive horror fan. We also get into a conversation about retro gaming for a little bit. And yeah, just had a great conversation about his love for movies, John Carpenter, George Romero, and just all kinds of stuff, how he got into collecting. And you guys know how this show is at this point, but I highly recommend that you subscribe to Jeremy's channel, Media Galore. I will link that down below, and his Instagram and his TikTok. He is on there as well. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy this episode. World's Biggest Collectors, episode 53. Let's go. What is up, everybody? Welcome to World's Biggest Collectors, episode 53, the show where we bring on the biggest physical media collectors in the YouTube and social media spaces. And I have with me today, Media Galore, Jeremy over at Media Galore. How you doing today, man?
Not too bad, not too bad.
And, looking behind you right there, I can see that you have a pretty awesome collection. You got some cool stuff back there, man.
I try. I mean, that's all I can ask for.
Nice. I like that. You got your name up there, back there, and you got some creep show stuff. I see a Jason mask and a ton of movies. I love it. I love it, man. But look, we're gonna dive into all kinds of stuff related to you and your channel, and you as a collector, where and how you got started collecting movies, and just we'll get into a variety of physical media topics here today. But before we do that, go ahead and tell everybody what you're all about over at Media Galore. Tell them about your channel and all that good stuff. The floor is yours, sir.
I really do a little bit of everything. I used to start off kind of with just movie reviews, and I figured strictly just that's my bread and butter. But, I've kind of shifted off to, I do vlogs every once in a while. I still do some movie reviews. I do 4K reviews. I do vlogs going to vinyl. I do vinyl reviews. So really, it's just really whatever I enjoy. I feel like, people that watch are going to enjoy it too. I even do, off to my left here, I have like my Super Nintendo, N64, and all my games and stuff. And I think I had a video or two just about like what games I got. I even put gameplay in there too. So it's really just whatever I enjoy. I kind of want to just throw out there and see what people like.
Nice, man. And yes, I will have your links down below in the description. I will have your Instagram, your YouTube, and I'm pretty sure that you are on TikTok as well, correct?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
I saw a 60-second review of the thing that you did today on your page. I'm pretty sure you're on TikTok. I will link all that stuff down below. I encourage all of you all. Jeremy you haven't had the channel for too long, have you? It's probably been around for about a year now. I think you've been on.
Maybe about a year. Yeah, I think like June of last year.
So a newer physical media channel. Definitely go show him some love, some support. Subscribe to his channel. Again, those links are down below. So do you also actively collect for video games right now as well, like along with movies? Are you kind of into that whole retro gaming thing?
I do and I don't. I want to get like an actual legit Super Nintendo console and all that, but right now I just have like the new one that has Super Nintendo and NES as well. But have
you bought that console that like I think you can put like Genesis, and I've seen them at like gaming and thrift stores and stuff. I thought about buying one time.
Yeah, the one I got is just it's strictly Super Nintendo and NES, but yeah, they have like Sega Genesis. They have like old video games you can play too.
I still got I think I got my Nintendo and my Super Nintendo, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you if I had all like the hookups for them or anything like that. I probably don't. They're all so mixed up. So if I wanted to do that and go like super retro with it, get the actual consoles, I would have to probably drop some money on that. I would love to get into that though. Like if if I ever, I'm not going to give up on the movies anytime soon. Obviously, I'm way too
Right.
deep into this at this point. But if I ever slow down a little bit on the movies, I would probably end up picking up like retro game collecting because I think that's super cool as well.
Yeah, just I go to like shops here and there, or like thrift stores and flea markets, and if I find a good deal, I'll pick them up. But like they're just getting so expensive now that I
Yeah.
can't drop $80 on a N64 game.
Yeah, there was a TikTok page I was following that like broke down how much it would cost to like buy all the games on each system. They like had one for 64 and
Yeah, it's
Super
insane.
Nintendo, and it was an insane amount of money.
Yeah,
And that wasn't even like in the box.
yeah, those are all loose.
That was just like loose buying the
Yeah,
actual like cartridge itself. So it's insane. Gaming for me, I think it is, very important to own like the older like physical games. It is going to become more of an issue, I think, as we get like 10, 20 years into the future. Like some of
yeah,
these games are going to end up, the risk of them being lost. A lot of
right.
the consoles, like the newer consoles, are doing like the eShops and stuff like that. I know we just closed down their eShop.
Hmm.
So I feel like video games is kind of going through a little bit of the same thing that movies and TV shows went through like 10 years ago.
And I
Like
mean,
it's
you're
starting
getting
to
the
catch up to
same.
games.
Yeah, with like Xbox and PlayStation, they're even putting out consoles that have no disk drives whatsoever, just because
Yeah.
it's all online now.
Yeah, it's getting kind of scary for lovers of this stuff for sure because there are some
Yeah.
games that came out on Nintendo, just like there's movies that came out in the 30s and 40s that will never see the light of day on Blu-ray
Oh yeah.
or 4K, and they're gonna end up being lost in time.
Yeah.
Like they may have a VHS somewhere at a Goodwill, but
Yeah. I
you're
mean,
not
you're
gonna be
literally
able to
gonna have to
find them.
search and search just to find one thing.
Yeah, because unless Nintendo or whoever brings it out on their eShop, which I
Yeah.
imagine there has to be like some kind of like a vault or something where they have all these games or
Yeah,
access to them.
like a digital record of it or something like that.
Yeah, there has to be. So
I
I mean,
know
I hope at some point.
Sega
Go ahead.
has that where they have like I think 30 to 40 games if you buy like a Sega console. It has all
Yeah,
of the digital games like included already, so you literally just shift down to what you want and you click on and you're good.
yeah. Do you have the like Nintendo? Because I've messed around with it a little bit. My son has the Switch, so I'll get on there from time to time. I know they have the Super Nintendo like shop, and then or
Hmm.
it's like a streaming service basically. Like you pay $5 a month to be subscribed to like the Super Nintendo
Yeah,
shop or something. Have you
yeah.
been on there? Do you
I
know like
I
what's the
used
selection like?
I used to have it. I know they actually, I think they, at least from what I remember, they split it into two, like Super Nintendo and then regular NES, and then that like they give you all the Mario, they give you a bunch of Donkey Kong games, stuff like that. But my brother's like the really big into like retro video games. He has all the old school games, different, all the Ruby and Sapphire like Nintendo 64 controllers. So
Yeah.
he's the one that pushes
Well,
my
you got the
GameCube.
best of both worlds then when you all get together. You got the movies, he's got the video games.
I mean,
Y'all are
honestly, yeah.
keeping it alive on both ends of the
Basically,
spectrum. But
yeah.
sorry to get into video games too much. It's something that I am like legitimately like interested in getting into more of. I've
Right.
always loved games. Like there was a period of time in my life where I was all about the games.
Oh yeah.
Like in my 20s. But as you get older, it's just like it just becomes easier to pop a movie on instead of playing
Yeah.
a 50-hour game.
Honestly, you're not wrong.
Yeah. But let's get into, enough with I mean, look, this is world's biggest collectors of all types of media, movies, video games, comic books, whatever. But we're here, to specifically talk about your movie collection. So take me back to, the young media galore. When did you first get it in your head that you wanted to start like collecting movies? Was this something that you always had in you from early childhood? Was it something you just adopted recently within the last few years or what?
I mean, it was always. I feel like you probably have the same kind of situation that I do. Is when you're younger, you're going to, Best Buy, or going to the movie shop, and you see all the movie titles lined up on the shelves, and just the pictures, and oh, I don't even know what this is. Friday the 13th. Okay, yeah, let's watch it.
Yeah.
And like that's really what drove it. Like my dad would take us every single Friday basically, and we'd either rent a game, and then we'd rent a movie, and then we'd play the game all the time, all day, and then at night we'd watch the movie, and basically it'd be a rinse and repeat kind of thing.
Yeah. That was kind of cool, like, because not to get into games again, but Like I remember going to the video store and also getting a game, getting a couple movies, and that would be my weekend. Like I would play the game and then we would turn it all on, Sunday or Monday when it was, time to go back to school. But
Yeah, right.
and then like I think the whole upstairs was like the video game section in the rental store in my hometown. It was a
Yeah.
really cool rental store. I missed that place. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't know how old you are. You strike me as somebody that's more on the, I don't want to say like really young, but on the younger side. So did
33.
you 33? Okay, well you're closer to my age then. You look good for your age, man. You
Thank
look a
you.
lot younger than I am.
I've been told I have a baby face.
Yeah, for sure. Well, then you grew up during the VHS era. You
Oh,
knew
yeah,
about going
yeah.
to the rental stores, and I always say that like we never called it collecting. It's just every house had VHS tapes. Like
Yeah.
when you were a kid, I don't feel like it became like a big thing to be a collector of movies until I guess like streaming kind of came along.
Yeah, and
And
I mean VHS too, it was so inexpensive to go. I think it was like maybe $1 for 5 days. You just go
yeah,
rent a movie. So you never really needed to go buy something because you could just go rent it. Oh, I want to watch it. All right, let's go
yeah.
down the road.
Yeah, when did you get to the point though where actually buying and owning it was became important for you? Was that something that, happened when you were a teenager or a little bit older?
No, I mean definitely when I was younger because my favorite all-time movie is Back to the Future. So I
Awesome.
remember
That's
when
my third favorite.
yeah,
So
I
close.
absolutely I mean I love that movie. So every time
Have you
we
ever
go
met anybody that doesn't like Back to the Future?
no, not really. I've never had anybody be like, "Yeah,
That's like
that's a
an
terrible movie. I
impossible
hate it."
movie to not like.
Yeah,
I would be curious.
it's just perfection. Alan Silvestri's score.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful. It's a great movie.
If you're out there watching us right now and you do not like Back to the Future, comment down below and let me know why. Give me a
We
good reason.
we
Don't just
won't
say because it
see.
sucks.
Yeah, we won't see
Um,
one down there.
I don't think we will. Like that's almost an untouchable movie,
Yeah,
and I think part of the reason why is it's never been tarnished. Like it's never been
yeah,
remade. And there was the cartoon, but the cartoon was fun. I used to like watching that.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, is the first Back to the Future your favorite of the trilogy?
See, that's the thing is, I think the first Back to the Future is perfection, but I always grew up on the second one because
Yeah,
me being a kid, I was, oh man, look at all this futuristic stuff. Jaws,
second one
what
is cool.
yeah, like Jaws 2000 or like 22 when he's coming
Yeah,
out, and so that really was more what caught me onto that movie.
and I do see you also have the almanac over there in the corner as well,
Yeah,
sports almanac, which
I have all of the NECA Back to the Future. Like I yeah, this stuff back here on the top shelf, I try and rotate out. Like I think right here, I actually just put the Killer Clowns from Outer Space vinyl. I used to have Freddy back
nice,
there.
nice. You a big vinyl collector as well?
Yeah, I
Do you like
try
the is
to.
that like the waxwork stuff?
Yeah, so like Waxwork, man, Sacred Bones, a lot of like Mondo does a lot of stuff now that they got bought out by Funko. Yeah, not as
Yeah,
much,
that's a
but
sore subject with a lot of people I know.
yeah. So apparently they walked it back and now they're going to do stuff again. But yeah, for a little while there, they really just wanted to crush what Mondo was.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'll say this about Back to the Future: the second one was my favorite growing up. As I got a little bit older, the first one became my favorite because I just recognized just how good and classic it was.
Yeah.
But the third one, like in adulthood,
Hmm.
it's not my favorite, but it's damn close to the first one. Now I love Back to the Future
Yeah.
Part 3. Love it.
I really think like overall movie wise and how it's made and the script and everything like that, I think the third one's better than the second one. It's just I
It
have that
is. Yeah.
nostalgic like I've always watched the second one.
Yeah. Yeah. They're all great though. They're
Yeah.
all
Oh
great.
yeah, it's a great
Just
trilogy.
I just love in the third one that because Doc Brown's definitely a main character in all of them, but like he kind of feels like he's sidelined a little bit in the first two, whereas in the
Mhm.
third one he's like front and center, and they actually give Doc Brown like a story and a love interest and
Right. And
something to
yeah,
do.
and
So
he sacrifices going to Back to the Future and stays
yeah,
with
yeah,
Clara.
it's a beautiful movie. I love it.
Yeah.
So you started collecting. Did you collect Back to the Future on VHS? Was that your first item
I had
that you own?
the trilogy on VHS, like it was a box set of that. So that was like my first thing where I was like, all right, cool. Like I like these movies. I like having them on my shelf. And I mean, you put them on your shelf because they display well and they look good. But then I could just watch this whenever I want because 5 feet from me. And then after that, it just slowly. I think I have like 5 different copies of the Back to the Future trilogy. I have like the European versions back there,
Yeah.
and then after that, it just happened.
Nice. Is that the movie franchise that you collect for the most, would you say?
That and Gremlins.
Gremlins. Oh, you're a Gremlins guy. I got to
Yeah,
ask this question then.
I
Gremlins
actually
1 or
have.
Grem
I have him back here. I don't know if you can see him.
Hold on now. Oh man, is that the Trick or Treat Studios one?
It's like the life size puppet. Like it
Yeah.
literally is sculpted and everything from what the movie was.
I would love to get stuff like that, but it's just like I spend so much money on movies, I don't feel like I have any extra funds to devote to that. But I need to 1 month just chill it with the movies and buy something cool like that
Yeah, like
to add to the collection.
they have Greta and they have the Flasher Gremlin with the same size. So,
Nice.
but the
So
Flasher Gremlin's huge.
I was gonna ask you back or Gremlins 1 or Gremlins 2? What's the best? What's your favorite?
Again, Gremlins 2 when I was a kid because
Okay.
that movie was just so insane. I mean, you have electric gremlins, like it's so over the top.
So much fun. Yeah.
But the first one overall is great, especially Phoebe Cates gets extremely dark in both movies for some reason.
Yeah. Out of nowhere, right?
Like Joe Dante was directing it. He was just like, keep going, keep going. Like your dad
I
was
do.
murdered.
Yeah.
Like it was bad, but
I love the fact that he directed both of those and they're just so like wildly different. Like there's
yeah,
a
oh
couple
yeah,
scenes in the first one that are very goofy and cartoonish,
yeah.
but for the most part it's a pretty serious like horror movie.
Well, he even
Horror
said
monster
too that
movie.
he directed the first one because he wanted to direct the second one as like an over the top, obnoxious. Like that's the only reason he came back is because he actually had a
Yeah.
writing credit.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the second one. That one was my favorite as a kid and it's still my favorite as an adult, so that hasn't
Yeah,
changed.
it's so
I
good.
freaking love it. I watched it last year with my kids and they both loved it. And
Yeah,
I just think it's I don't want to say it's aged better than the first one, but there's just I love
yeah,
the like meta nature of it, and
yeah.
it's
Right.
basically like a live action Looney Tunes, but it's just all the different gremlins, and then you got Rambo, Gizmo, and it's just there's so much fun to be had in that movie. You got freaking Christopher Lee in that movie, like
yeah, right.
it's
Just a
freaking great.
random like evil doctor.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Did you have Gremlins on VHS when you were a kid?
Yeah, I actually
Did you?
somewhere back here, I found it on VHS not too long ago. I think it actually I did a vlog about it and found it at Gigi's Emporium and
Nice.
like $5, and of course I'm going to get it for $5.
Of course. Why wouldn't you? I wish I would have scooped up a lot more VHSs a few years ago because they were like $1.50, and now they've just skyrocketed, like
Yeah,
almost out of nowhere. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Half Price Books had them for like $8 the other day. It's
yeah,
crazy,
and you just
crazy.
can't find the ones you want. You always have like 34 copies of Titanic sitting around.
Yeah, and I'm always looking at. I'm like, do I really need this? I forget which one I was looking at the other day. I was like, this might be cool to have, but do I really need it? I don't
The
know what. I forget what movie it was.
the only ones that I really want to get, and it sucks because they're expensive because it's a huge, just a big movie, is Nightmare on Elm Street. I just love the art
Oh,
on those.
that is it like the set where it has like the Freddy's arms out like that
Well,
on the side of it?
there's that one, and then I also just want the individuals because the art's a little bit different.
Yeah, the artwork on those VHSs were awesome.
Yeah.
Were awesome for sure. Do you have the DVD set? I got it up here somewhere,
Are
so
you
I can
talking about
touch it.
Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah,
Right back here, I think.
I still hold that near and dear to my heart
It's the best box set so far that's come out.
until they
Cough
finally
Cough
put
Scream
some
Factory.
yeah until they finally put some respect on Nightmare's name for
Right.
God's sakes. Can't get a new movie, can't get a new box set. It's like people just hate Freddy.
Yeah, it's annoying.
They do. All right, so we'll go back and did you have like a VHS collection? Like when was all this going on? Like how old were you when you were getting Back to the Future on VHS?
I mean, I never had a big VHS collection.
Was it
Like,
yours or would you say it kind of went into the family
oh,
collection?
it
Like
was more family than anything.
okay.
Like my mom would pick up VHS here and there. My dad would, basically we had a. I don't know if you know. Well, actually, I think you're up. Where are you at again? Up north somewhere.
Depends on where you're at. I'm in kind of the middle. I'm in Kentucky.
Okay, because I had where I used to live in Ohio. We had a family video.
Yeah,
And
we had I think the last family video closed down like a couple of years ago. I
okay.
went to it a few years back.
So like what they used to do was they would have their, VHS and DVDs. You'd rent them for as long as you want, and then once they wanted to make room for everything, they would basically just sell off their old stock. So we
Yeah.
would go there and you'd rent something and go, "Oh, hey, cool. This VHS is, selling for $1.50. Let's just pick that up." And like that kind of just went into the family vault, I guess, and that's where
Yeah.
we kept them.
Did you get to where you were like buying your own stuff? Like I guess maybe when you started working or think because that's how it kind of was for me. And it was around the time when DVD was coming out. So I remember buying DVDs and VHSs like simultaneously.
Yeah.
Almost like we buy Blu-ray and 4K now.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of my main collection when I first just for myself was almost all strictly DVD, but it was,
Well, since you're about I'd say 4 years younger than me, so I'd say when you were getting into where you could purchase stuff yourself, it was almost probably all full on DVD at that point.
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that would definitely make sense.
Yeah, but like I would, I think I had a paper route I made like when I was like 14 years old, I made like $30 a month. So that went towards like just, hanging out with my brother. We'd go to Target or we'd like ride our bikes to Target and look at new movies or look at CDs and stuff like that, which that kind of dates me too, because what's a CD
CD.
anymore?
Yeah, I was it was the last episode of this of World's Biggest Collectors I did with the Ryan at the Disconnected, and I kind of came to the realization that I was really probably like the first thing I was actively collecting for was CDs, like
Yeah.
music and things like that. Because I mean, I loved rock and just tons of different like bands and stuff when I was a kid. So I was buying like all the Corn CDs and Limp Bizkit and
My my
Kid Rock CD, whether he had the middle finger on the CD.
my first CD actually. The reason I know it was my first CD because I rode my bike to Target with my buddy, and it was the Limp Bizkit Nookie CD.
Yeah,
And
significant other. Yeah,
yeah, and I wasn't old enough to actually buy the one with parental advisory. But
yeah.
in my head, I wasn't. I was like, "Oh, I have it in my hand. This is the one with all the cursing in it. Like, I'm good. I got this." And I went up and I was like, "Oh, I'm so nervous. They're going to tell me I can't buy it because I'm not old enough." I buy it. I walk out of the store. I'm like, "Oh my god, how did I get this?" I get home. It's the edited version.
Oh yeah, they got you with that
Yeah.
Walmart. Did you get it at Walmart?
No, Target.
Target. So Target was doing that stuff too. But I
Hmm.
remember like Walmart specifically is like you could not buy CDs at Walmart because they would always be edited.
Yeah.
And it was so weird because it's like they would sell any movie that was rated
Yeah.
R. So like, why are you not selling like the CDs? I don't get
Yeah. It
the
drove me nuts.
logic of
My
that.
my buddy made fun of me the entire time, and yeah,
Yeah, I think I don't know what the reasoning was behind Walmart not doing the cussing on the music and stuff. But that was very annoying back in the day. I remember getting screwed over on a few CDs as well.
yeah.
Um, okay, so let's you're collecting DVDs, and I want to know where it kind of splits and evolves into what it is now. Like, where does it go from what I imagine was a pretty good sized DVD collection to the massive collection that you have behind you, and you're just actively collecting for steel books and special editions and box sets and all that. When did that come to be?
Well, when I first started buying like DVDs, I had a nice. I mean, I was like 15, 16 years old, so still lived at home, and I had just in my room my little movie shelf, and then I started to get a little bit bigger, and I had an extra movie shelf underneath my TV, and then it started to grow. But then I moved out, and I was like, okay, I need money. So I literally sold all of my movies. I was like, I don't need this. I don't need this. I'm probably not going
Yeah.
to watch this. So I
What
think
year was that? Do you remember?
oh boy, like 2008
2008.
ish. Yeah, 2008, 2009,
Yeah,
somewhere around
because
there.
there was a point where I sold like all my DVDs as well, and I just had
Yeah,
to start over.
yeah, and I mean, and even at that point too, like movies weren't huge like how they are now. So like, if I sold a DVD or a Blu-ray copy of something, I'm probably getting like $1.50. You basically would sell movies, and I sold my entire collection off. I feel like I got like $60 for it total. Like it just seemed oh, I spent a year and a half, 2 years collecting this, and I'll just like that, $60 gone. And
Yeah,
So then, I moved out and I got my own place. And, even when I was kind of moving around and, I lived with my buddy for, a couple of years. Then I went and lived with my dad in a different city a couple of years. I still had a sweet boy job and I was able to buy, other movies and stuff like that. Then it kind of, you see behind me. And I have two shelves down my hallway too.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it kind of just escalated from there. I mean, that a collection like that doesn't happen overnight. I get it's years
Yeah.
of buying and all that stuff. And let me get into, well, first off, I didn't even ask this question, and people are going to get upset if I don't ask this question, but how many titles would you estimate are in your collection right now?
According to the My Movies app, I have 1,489 right now.
1,489. That's a good size collection. And you got, you got a lot of good stuff. It looks like behind you right there. You collect for you do a lot of steel books and stuff like that.
I used to, especially way back in the day. I think I think it's more or less when like Marvel started to put their movies out, because you'd have like the Best Buy exclusives. They got like 3 or 4 in store, and then boom, they sold out. You're screwed. You had to get there at 9:50 and wait in line. Honestly,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna say, if you were collecting DVDs back in like 2008 and stuff, did you ever get like DVD steelbooks at any time? Was that ever a thing to you back then?
I back then it was more about, as long as I have the movie, that's all I
Yeah,
care about. Like I have some, I even still have the old school Ghostbusters um, animated show. I have the steelbook for that out in my hallway, and
yeah,
I've had that for, I think, probably 12, 13 years now, just because I found it. I was like, oh, cool. Like I watched the show as a kid, and all right, I'll keep it.
yeah. Back in the day, for me, like it was all about the cheapest option possible. Like I was,
Honestly, yeah.
I was getting, I was buying DVD when Blu-ray came out. Like I was still buying DVD.
I mean,
And if
when
there was a collector's edition for $10 more, I wasn't buying that. I was buying
right?
the regular edition. I
I
don't need
mean,
that crap.
when I was making 583 working at Pizza Hut when I was like 16 years old,
Yeah.
cheap was where I was at.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely, when as you get older, if you're doing it correctly, you start making a little bit more money, or a little bit better with your money and your
Yeah.
finances. You can afford to buy more for sure. And there for a little bit, when I started having kids and my wife was a stay-at-home mom for a while, there wasn't a lot of funds for me to
Yeah.
double dip on House of a Thousand Corpses and get a steel book and a special box set edition.
Right.
That kind of stuff just wasn't happening 10 years ago like it is now.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, even back then too, you had one edition and that was it.
yeah,
Like you're not getting a European release, a German release, stuff like
yeah,
that. You're not getting 4 or 5 different copies of these movies.
yeah. It's definitely. I feel like a lot of companies are overcompensating at this point just because physical media is kind of not the mainstream thing anymore. So they're definitely catering more to collectors because that's the
Yeah.
people that are buying their stuff. Um, at this point, so they're releasing all these editions, and instead of back like 20 years ago where they could get 10,000 people to buy their movie, now they're getting 100
Yeah.
people to buy their movie 10 or 15 times.
They got to put a little bit more effort into it and actually give us
Yeah.
something collectible about it.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to get into I want to get into you as a collector and just, the types of and the ways that you collect and the types of stuff that you buy. But what are some of the like recent Blu-rays and stuff you've been buying? Like, what have you been into recently? Like, just really into?
Well, let's see. I got 2 here. I mean, obviously, Cool Hand Luke.
Nice. You
I
just did a
just,
review for that. I've seen that. I
yeah,
haven't watched it yet, but I've seen that. I haven't watched
yeah.
mine yet.
But like that, I mean, okay, so I absolutely love, like, so bad it's good movies. Like I have a stack over here of like Mac and Me, like the Room. So terrible movies. So
Oh yeah.
I actually just picked
Hey,
this
you
up.
bite your tongue. Mac and Me is an American classic.
I mean, McDonald's would say so. McDonald's and what, Coca-Cola or Pepsi?
It's funny, when I was a kid, I watched that and I watched E.T. like all the time. And to me, like back when I was a kid, they were like the same quality of movie. I loved them both. As I
I
got older,
still
I was like, oh, one movie's really bad and one movie's a
right.
masterpiece.
I still love every time Paul Rudd is on Conan
That's
and he goes to show a
hilarious.
movie
Yeah,
clip. He just shows
yeah.
back at me.
That's hilarious. I was watching a bunch of those clips like one night a few years ago. I didn't even know that was a thing, and then somebody brought it up. I just went
it's
down the rabbit hole of YouTube clips, and yeah,
it's so good.
that's funny. That's super funny.
But so speaking of terrible movies, the book's really not that great either. But I got Sleepwalker.
Ooh, I haven't seen that yet. I've heard
It's
terrible things about it though.
it's bad. I mean, it's
But I've heard terrible things about it, but at the same time, I've heard people that say they love it, and it's one of their favorite Stephen King adaptations.
it's like it's one of those like so bad it's good. Like you watch it because you know it's going to be terrible, and you just want to watch how cringy it gets. Because like, I mean, it's a guy that's I don't even know what he is. I think he's like a werewolf
And like a
cat-ish.
cat people kind of thing.
Yeah, but like he apparently when
Werecat.
he gets scared, his face changes and morphs, and like he's driving a car and a person looks over at him and he gets scared or nervous and his face turns into like a baby. So it's just a
Oh, really?
huge, yeah, like a giant sized human with a baby face on. And
Oh, wow. I got to check
it's
this movie out.
yeah,
What's
it's
that? What's
so
that edition you got right there? Is that
it's
like a
just
double pack? Is that like the Scream
yeah.
Factory or something?
No, this is just it's from Image. It's a 2-pack of this and
Just the two
Children of the
pack.
Corn.
They just put like a couple of Stephen King movies together.
Basically,
I
yeah.
guess.
I mean, it's
Children
Stephen
of the
King in itself.
Corn. Are you a fan of Children of the Corn?
Honestly, when I first watched it, I watched it when I was a kid, and it absolutely like I thought it was real life. I never wanted to
Terrified
go.
me as a kid too. Yeah.
Yeah, I never wanted to go to wherever they were at. Like I and living in Ohio, like all I saw was corn. Like if you
Yeah.
went out in the country, it was just corn. So like I enjoy it, and I have like the
It's
4K
creepy.
4K box set, and it's a good movie. But
Yeah.
no,
It's a little mid though, isn't it?
yeah, it's not. It's the way it was filmed and how much
Yeah.
money they actually could put into it.
I
Yeah,
love
it's
the opening
definitely
scene though. The opening scene's great.
yeah.
After
Well,
that,
well,
eh.
they I
I
think
like Linda Hamilton, but eh.
the remake they did too. It shows more of like how the kids took over, and that was like a cool aspect of it that you wanted to see more of.
Is that
But
the
then,
recent movie that came out?
yeah, I think it came out either this year or last year.
Did you see that one? Everybody was
Yeah,
crapping all over that.
it was so bad. It was
Well, I
yeah.
mean, when you start off with a movie that's not very good, then you can,
I mean, yeah. Honestly, I like the second Children of the Corn.
I got that on. I think I got a DVD 2-pack with the second one and the third one,
Yeah, the
but I
second
haven't
one's
seen
not.
those in such a long time.
Yeah, second one's not as bad because it's like some of the older kids kind of grown up, but then after
Yeah,
that, it just starts to get terrible
yeah,
again.
yeah. I think I watched up until like 5 or 6 or something when I was a kid, but after
You
that,
went
I was
further than
done.
me then.
Yeah, I think I just don't remember any of them. I was probably like 11 or 12 when I watched them or something.
Yeah, I mean they all morphed into the same movie.
Yeah, in my mind, I think of them as the same movie.
Yeah.
So let's see. What's the state? I want to know the state of your physical media collection right now. Is everything satisfactory to you? I just got done with a big reorganization over here, so I'm feeling pretty good about where everything's at.
Yeah, I
Are
mean
you in desperate need of reorganization? Are you pretty good right now? You
not
got
I
enough
mean
room? That's a big thing with people. They don't have enough room.
I actually the two shelves out in the hallway I have like only halfway full and that's it. And then even back here, I have like two shelves down at the bottom that are just basically filled with like, empty Blu-ray cases so I can move them and put more in there. I'm getting to the point where like it's more or less, am I really gonna, watch this movie over and over, or, am I gonna want to do a review on this movie with the 4K versus Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Stuff like that is more kind of what I'm geared towards now. It's not just like, oh hey, I remember this movie from, the 90s when I watched it as a kid and I'll get it.
Well, we can get into that a little bit. So are you wanting to move more towards like kind of like a collection curation type setup where you're constantly rotating stuff out? Or are you somebody that like you feel like you need to hold on to everything?
No, I've always been like, especially when I upgraded from VHS to DVD, DVD to Blu-ray, Blu-ray to 4K, like I'm not one that really keeps a lot of my stuff. I like to, if I get a 4K, I keep the Blu-ray. I'll do a 4K versus Blu-ray on the channel, and then I'll get rid of the Blu-ray. Unless it's like, the Scream Factory steelbooks of like The Thing, They Live, like those are higher priced, and I just really like the art, and so stuff like that I'll keep. But for the most part, if I upgrade anything, it's usually the Blu-ray's gone after like a week or two.
Yeah. Do you just like sell it off, or you take it somewhere?
Yeah, sometimes. Like I know when I hit 100 subscribers, I did a giveaway, and I gave away some of like my old Blu-rays that I upgraded. I have a DVD exchange place where, for the most part, they buy kind of everything that I bring them. So,
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I removed 90 or maybe 100 Blu-rays from the collection when I did the reorganization, and they
yeah,
were ones that I had upgraded, and I was just holding on to them. And I was like, if there's no like real reason for me to keep it, like it's not like a collector's edition, or it's got like different artwork or cool different artwork or something like that, or I kept like if the 4K doesn't have the Blu-ray, I
yeah,
would keep the Blu-ray because I want the option to watch it on Blu-ray, just in case I'm in a room that doesn't have a 4K player, and I want to watch it, even though that would rarely happen. Like if I'm going to watch a movie, more than likely it's going to be in my
4K.
main room with a 4K player. But
Yeah,
just in case, I like to have the option. Us as collectors, we like to have our options open for sure. That's why we collect. Is the fear of losing the option to watch the movie that we want at
right.
some point on streaming.
Well, I mean, especially you get like the old Star Wars movies. Like Lucas has remastered those and changed everything so
Yeah,
much that you can't watch the originals because they're just hard to find or they're just stupid expensive to buy.
yeah, yeah. That's I got 2 VHS triple packs of the originals,
Yeah,
but I think that he started altering those like before the VHS ones came out.
yeah.
So it's like it's really hard to find like completely untouched and unaltered the Star Wars
You
trilogy.
got to get them with there's like a red strip on the box and like certain variations of the box that actually give you the old school version of it.
Yeah, that's crazy. He keeps like, messing with them like that.
Especially when the prequels came out, my God, he put everything he wanted in there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I saw the special editions in the theater.
Yeah,
Um, and I watched those over and over again on VHS. I bought that. I got like the gold pack VHS tape thing.
yeah.
Um, I think mine had C3PO or Darth Vader on it or something. I can't remember
Yeah.
who
Are
all
you
was
talking
on
about
them.
the actual triple pack of it?
It's like a triple pack. It like, would pull apart like this, and then the 3 VHS tapes would be inside. I still got it in the closet
Yeah.
over there. But those are the ones I watched over and over again. So I'm kind of nostalgic for the Star Wars special editions, but I'm not
Right.
exactly sure like how else he's altered it since then. I mean,
Yeah.
um, I've watched Star Wars, a lot over the years, but I don't think I've watched the original trilogy all the way through since probably before The Force Awakens came out. So it's been a
Yeah.
while since I've really sat down and watched those movies.
Yeah. Honestly, it has been a while.
But I mean, I've just seen them so many times. It's just I'm always focused on watching new stuff instead of going back and watching the older movies.
Right.
Okay, so trying to see where I want to go now. Take me. So we were talking about the state of your physical media collection. So you're pretty good right now.
Yeah. I
How
mean,
you
for
got
the
everything
most
organized?
part, I've through the years I've tried to switch things up. Like I would do alphabetical order. I do, all my 4Ks here, Blu-rays here. But then I just feel like I like to keep movies together that just seem like they should be together. So like I have 2 rows of horror section, but then I have like Escape from New York and Escape from LA there because they're Shout Factory, they're John Carpenter, they're with horror.
You
So
try to
like
keep all your boutiques together as well.
yeah, like back here somewhere I have like all my Kinos together. I have all of my Criterion in a row, all my Arrow in a row. So that way, because in my head I can be like, oh, I want to watch this movie. Who put it out. Okay, I know where it's at.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's I want to get into, you as a content creator real quick. You started a YouTube channel, and how's it going so far? Making the jump to YouTube can sometimes be scary, to get
It's
on here with the rest of us crazy people and talk about movies and physical media. How have you been liking it so far?
I mean, I agree. When I first, because when I first started dating my girlfriend, we talked about it, and I told her, I was like, I love movies, and even when I talked to my sister-in-law, she was like, yeah, like, because she came over, and instead of watching a movie or playing drinking games or whatever we would have done, we literally just sat there, and it was her and my brother, and we just talked about movies. Like I was telling them, oh yeah, behind the scenes they did this, and this is how they filmed this, and this is what they did for this. And she told me, she's like, start a YouTube channel. Like she's like,
Yeah.
people are gonna watch. You're talking about movies. You're giving information that people might not know. And then my girlfriend was the one that really like pushed it on me. She told me, she's like, just do it. Like if you do one video, you don't like it, cool, whatever. Do a second video. If you don't like that, like, and make adjustments. If you think it looks dumb, do something different. Talk about something else. And she said more or less, if you're passionate about it and you like what you're doing and you're enjoying it, then that's something that you can do. And who cares if you get subscribers or followers or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're having fun doing it, then do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. What was the gap between when they gave you the idea to get into it to when you actually started it? Because I know sometimes that push can. Was it immediate? Did you just jump straight on, or did you have to think
uh
about it for a little bit?
I mean, it wasn't too long. Like my sister-in-law brought it up to me at first, and then like maybe like 2 or 3 months down the line, my girlfriend just told me, just jump in. And after that, I got a little tripod, put my phone up on it, and first video, and it was, I think, an estate sale I have
Yeah.
on there. It's like a two-parter because I spent like $350 on an estate sale because this guy just, like, I think he had like a $15,000 surround sound setup and a projector screen, 4K like everything, but he was selling stuff
Damn.
dirt cheap. So like I went there and got like a lot of my box sets and stuff that I have. Like I have TV box sets. I think the Abbott Costello back here sells for like 80 to $120 new now. I got it for like $15.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm always curious to, to hear about people's stories getting into YouTube and all that stuff, because I had a couple of cold starts that getting into it. I made a video, did make another one for about a year and a half. After that, did make another one for 6 months. So I
Yeah.
finally got into it and was a little bit more consistent. Have you found that you've been able to maintain consistency since you've gotten started, or
For
have
the
you been
most
kind of
part,
hot and cold on it?
yeah. I mean, for the most part, I try and at least do 2 videos a week. I know there was one point where I was doing like a video every 3 days, which, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess that technically is still two a week, but it was more or less, I found myself, just as long as I put out something that I like talking about and I like doing, then I feel like that's all I really needed and that's all I really cared about. But still, I mean, for the most part, it's been about maybe 2 videos a week, maybe 2 videos every week and a half or so.
Yeah. Do you have any long-term goals for the channel or anything like that? Anything you're looking to do differently or looking to do that's new, or
I
something
mean,
you wanted to do but may not have tried yet?
yes and no. There was when I first started, like, I love horror movies. I love like the old school feel of it. Like George Romero, Wes Craven are two of my favorite directors. So that I actually did honestly, I can't remember who it was about. It might have been about John Carpenter, but I did like a director cut almost, and it was just talking about his movies, more information about him behind the scenes. And I know my sister really liked that segment, and it didn't get a lot
Yeah.
of views. And in my head, I was like, I got to get views. I got to push for subscribers, and then I got in that mentality of like, okay, what are other people going to want to watch that I can do? And
Yeah.
then, so now I want to bring that back. And I have like, because I used to write like actual full scripts on like, all the information straight down the line and stuff like that. And then I just never put it out.
Yeah. It gets tricky, and it's hard to balance stuff like that. What stuff that is going to get views versus stuff that you are passionate about, but is probably not going to do as
Yeah.
well. And sometimes you got to, especially when you're dealing with, this, a lot of your time goes into this,
Yeah.
and you want it to be worth something. You
Yeah.
don't want to put your entire day into something that just flops and nobody cares about or checks out.
Yeah.
And I've been there as well. I mean, when I was first getting started, I had 2 ideas for 2 shows. One was the physical media report, where I went over all the new releases and stuff every week. And the other was a show that I called The Haunting of Mid-Level. And it was a horror-based show where I would talk about horror news and just my love for horror and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, I would definitely watch that.
And well, there's I think 5 episodes up on the channel just from way back in the day. I don't talk about it a lot anymore. Well, the physical media report, when I did that, it got like, 70 to 80 views. When I did the
Right.
Haunting of Mid-Level, it got 20 to 30 views. They both took the same amount of time to do all day. It was like 8 hours a piece to do them both.
Right.
So I was like, all right, at some point you got to try to focus your time and energy into stuff that is working a little bit
Yeah.
better. So I had to ditch it. I thought about bringing it back though,
Yeah.
maybe
Because
for one off.
to be fair, like I'm not the type of person that's gonna go vlog and go to like Best Buy, Walmart, Target, and stuff like that every Tuesday. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. To me, I'd rather go and I'll make a TikTok here and there every once in a while about going out and doing that, and like I'll do vlogs. But when I do vlogs, it's more or less like I went to a record shop or I went
yeah,
to a toy store or stuff like that. Like it's more promoting smaller businesses in San Antonio than just going, oh hey, this is what Best Buy has, because so
yeah,
many people do that already, and they're already going to do it better than me, and they already have viewers
yeah.
because of that. So like,
And that's what inspired me. Like those are the videos I wanted to make. Like when
yeah,
I first got started, I was like, I just want to do Blu-ray hunts. I was like, I feel comfortable doing those. Like sitting down here, like in a room recording myself, I felt super awkward doing that. I just felt more comfortable, like in my car out in like the open,
right,
which doesn't make any sense because people are watching you. So you think you'd be less comfortable. But
yeah,
I love those types of videos. I watched all of the Cool Duders and
yep,
Wet Movie and Durant Cinema back in the day. Like I was just addicted to those videos. So those were the videos I
yeah,
wanted to make. Then the pandemic happens, shuts everything down. It's like, okay, I can't be going in the stores and hunting for movies right now.
yeah.
Like
You're
we're
just
on
doing
lockdown
curbside,
and stuff. And that's when I came up with, different ideas and stuff to do.
right?
Um, but yeah, that's it's always, it's interesting to get into, the origins of YouTube. It can be a very complicated, place to try
The,
to
the algorithm rules all.
get content out, but also try to be creative at the same time and still have that outlet for creativity. Because that's what it's all about when you're on here creating content. Like there's
Yeah,
not one person that makes YouTube videos that doesn't have that doesn't need that outlet for creativity. Otherwise they would be on here doing this.
right.
Um, all right. So I want to get into, what type of collector you are. So I have a series of questions that I'm going to ask you.
All right.
The first one being, are you usually like a day one type buyer? Do you buy a lot of stuff day one, the week it comes out, or are you more of a wait for the sale type of guy?
I would say a little bit of both. A lot of the stuff, if I know I'm going to do a review on it, I'll get it day one. But certain things, especially like 4Ks that maybe I want to upgrade from Blu-ray, but I already know, like, no, I'm not spending 25 $30, stuff like that. I can definitely wait on. But like certain movies I absolutely love, or like old school like Casablanca, or the To Kill a Mockingbird, like old school movies like that,
Yeah.
I just want to watch. So if they're for a good price, which usually they are, it's more or less like the Marvel steelbooks now that are getting up to like $40 $50 now. Like
Yeah.
that stuff, I'm definitely waiting on a sale.
Yeah. Just, yeah, I'm not as into collecting the Marvel stuff. And yeah, those steelbooks are just getting way overpriced. And Lionsgate is putting out the best steelbooks in the game right now. And they're
Honestly, yeah.
21, $22.
I still remember
So,
when Best Buy used to get like 3 or 4 copies of every Marvel steelbook, and that's it. And I went in and I bought Ant-Man. Or I didn't buy the first Ant-Man movie because they were originally like $24.99. You got the Blu-ray, maybe sometimes 3D, and you got the cool steelbook that's collector. But I didn't get the Ant-Man one because it jumped up to $29.99. I was like, "Are you kidding me? $5? Like,
yeah.
what's different?"
Yeah.
And I regret not getting it.
Did you get both of the when you were collecting Marvel stuff? Because I imagine you're a Marvel fan. If you were collecting Marvel stuff at a certain
Mhm.
point, were you getting like the Target versions and the Steel books? Were you double dipping on
Oh
that kind of
God,
stuff,
no.
or just getting the one?
Yeah, there's no way that I could. In my head, I'm thinking spend $30 on a movie and buy it twice, or buy it once, bite the bullet, and buy just get the one I like, and then buy something else, or anything else really that I can put that money towards.
Yeah, yeah. So usually just go for just the stuff that you're interested in day one, and a lot of
Yeah,
stuff you kind of wait on.
yeah.
Do you buy a lot of? Do you find yourself buying a lot of like the mainstream releases, studio releases, or are you more boutique on average? Screen Factories, Criteria, and stuff like that.
I'm really big into Criterion when they have a sale because I feel like Criterion is just overpriced overall. Like I think
Yeah.
their 4Ks are what, like $50 or something like that originally, and
Yeah, I mean, most of the time on Amazon they'll be 35 or 36
yeah,
the day they come out, but
but
on the
yeah,
actual Criterion site, yeah, $50.
especially when you go to Barnes and Noble, I feel like they always up the price on all of
Yeah,
those.
Barnes and Noble, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so like Arrow, Criterion, Shout Factory, and Scream Factory, those four are, well, I guess three because Shout owns Scream Factory, but
Yeah,
that group right there, I love. Like whatever they put out for the most part, if I'm interested in the movie, I'll probably pick it up. You know, especially too a lot of those stuff because they're collectors items and they might not make as many or whatever. Like how I think it's Arrow who does like the big chunky box sets, and once they
yeah,
sell out, you just get the 4K. It's a slip, or even if without a slip cover. Um, so those I'll pick up, but like stuff that comes out from like Paramount, Warner Brothers, Sony, they're gonna mass produce these things. You're gonna get them at Walmart, Target, Best Buy, we're everywhere.
yeah,
And if you hold out, you could buy them at like a buyback place for probably like $10 cheaper.
yeah. Now you might not get the slip cover with them. That's the one thing you might not get. Is that something that matters to you? Are you big into you big slip
Yes,
cover guy, or does it
eh.
matter at
I
the end of
mean,
the
yes
day?
and no. Like if I
It
don't get
is
a
just
slip,
a piece of cardboard, right? At the end of the
yeah. I
day,
mean, to me,
why
like
do we
yeah,
care so much?
if it's there and it's for a good price, yes, I would prefer the slip cover.
Yeah,
But if it's like if it's not there and it's just like War Games didn't even come out with the slipcover, but I bought that day one because I liked the movie, I liked the company that put it out. I
oh,
wanted
you're
to
one
see
of
how
those weirdos that just buys it because you like the movie? That guy, God,
right.
that's weird.
But
So
yeah, like
weird.
certain things like that where if I want the movie, I'm just gonna buy it. I'm not gonna, oh man, it doesn't have a slipcover. I'll wait. Like it's if I want it and I want it and I want to watch it, I'm gonna pick it up.
Yeah, that's a good answer. That is a good answer. Which boutique label is your favorite? You mentioned Criterion,
Ooh,
Arrow, Scream Factory. Which is the one that is head and
that's
shoulders above the rest of you?
that's a tough question. I would
It is
say
tough. They all do good stuff.
I would say Scream Factory because I gravitate more towards horror, and especially as long as they put out a good copy of the movie, which they some of them they've kind of slipped on a little bit here and there, but for the most part, horror is kind of where I gravitate towards. Even if it's B level horror, I don't care. But
Yeah.
so Scream Factory is where I'm at for the most part.
Now you mentioned being a horror fan and B-level horror. Have you gotten bitten by the vinegar syndrome bug yet?
I've never like I think I have one, maybe two. I have one Vinegar Syndrome because it's Tammy and the T Rex on 4K.
Yeah,
But other than that, I don't know. I look at the sales and there's certain movies that I want because I didn't they do Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and
they did. They
what was
did.
the Amityville Horde? Did they do that one too?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
Amityville.
those I want to get, but they're just I mean, I don't know. I feel like because they're a boutique label, their prices are higher and I just don't want to find myself paying like 50-ish dollars for something like that.
I will say they're not as. I don't think they're that much more than a Scream Factory. Like
That's
if you
fair.
if you
Yeah.
if you pre-order it from their website, maybe a couple of dollars. Like I think Amityville was like maybe 32 or 33 or something.
Okay, so that's not terrible then.
But if you get like the big VSU box sets like Roadhouse on 4K. This sucker was like
Yeah.
$50, but these are incredible releases. Like they're just some of the like the Arrow box sets. They're like they rival the Arrow video box sets for sure.
See,
They
and
got
I
like
wanted to pick up
magnetic cases and stuff.
right. I wanted to pick up that Roadhouse, but like I'm weird that if I can't get it like in my hands day one,
Yeah,
then I hold off on buying it. Like if
I'd
it's
say you could get it now for much cheaper. Yeah, it's
oh
like
yeah, yeah.
25 or something now, but
Yeah.
it's beautiful too. Like it looked fantastic on
Yeah.
4K.
I've heard it's a good transfer, and it's just I don't know. It's an iconic movie, but it's like a B level, you know.
Yeah, it's I had never seen it before, and it's definitely has that 80s cheese
Yeah,
charm to it. But I liked it a lot though. I thought it was
yeah,
really fun. But yeah, Vinegar Syndrome, you're definitely paying for the packaging. But even I think their normal Blu-rays, I bought, a couple in the recent batch that they put out, and they're like 25, 26 or something for a Blu-ray. So I really don't feel like the price is too much different than Scream Factory.
yeah. I mean,
And
especially now, Scream Factory's gone up to like that
the level of
32,
care
34,
that
and
they put into their releases versus Scream Factory in terms of like packaging and also special features as well
that yeah,
is
that's
just head
true.
and shoulders above Scream Factory
Yeah, that
at
Amityville
this point.
artwork looks fantastic.
And don't get me wrong, I'm still a Scream Factory fan. I still buy from them all the time. I'm excited as hell for Creepshow on 4K.
Yeah,
Um, but they do some funny stuff sometimes for sure. Like with that Creepshow 4K, it's like
yeah, all the
they want you
packages.
to pay $40 for postcards or
Yeah, I mean,
something.
honestly, yeah, it's like $120, and the only thing you extra get is like 4 little postcards off to the side.
Yeah. I
Yeah, it's
did
insane.
I did have my moment of weakness and I got the alternate slipcover package.
See,
So,
I think I might get that because I like the artwork,
which came
but
out to about 50 something dollars to
yeah,
get that and pre-order from them, which is the same amount that I paid for Roadhouse and Sidekicks and all the other Vinegar Syndrome big box sets. And all this is going to be is a little flimsy slipcover, but I've got two of them because I got the extra artwork and a
right.
poster that's, flimsy and cheap. And the release isn't going to have anything new in terms of special features. So,
No.
but I got it because I'm a Creepshow fan and I love it. And I wanted all the artwork that I could get. But
I mean, and wasn't it Arrow that originally put out, or maybe it might have been Scream Factory, the old school Blu-ray, like big chunky box set of Creepshow?
that was actually Scream Factory.
Okay, I have it back there. I think. I mean,
But this was the only big hard box that Scream Factory ever did up until this point.
yeah,
So it is kind of like an Arrow video release. It
yeah.
feels like that.
I wish they would do that more often, especially on bigger releases.
See, they did it for the Halloween films. They did the
Yeah.
hard box for those, and then Elvira, Haunted Mansion or Haunted
Oh, I
Hills or
didn't know
something.
they. I think they did a steelbook for that too.
They just randomly did it for that,
Mhm.
and then but it's like they haven't done it for anything else. Like their box sets, like Friday the 13th, The Fly, like it's the same material as those that they did on Creepshow.
Yeah,
Um, but it's really nice. Like I love the Creepshow edition. But Arrow has Creepshow 2. They put out a nice big box set of
that's okay.
Arrow
That's what I was thinking
of
of them.
Creepshow 2, which I wish I wasn't collecting like that for boutique labels back when that came out, so I missed out on it. And Creepshow
Yeah,
2 is one of my first Arrows that I bought, added
yeah.
to my collection.
I love Creepshow too.
I did too. That was the one I watched growing up. So that was kind of like my entry point into boutique
What
labels. I was looking up Creepshow 2 on Amazon.
Which one
I was
was your
like, what's
favorite of
Arrow
Creepshow
Video?
two?
Oh, the Raft.
Yep,
That's the
the
best
raft
one. Yeah.
always scared the crap out of me. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
The Raft, yeah, that scared I watched that movie so many times when I was a kid, and that sequence would always like freak me out. Like I would never
Especially
want to
when
go
it
to a
just
lake
shoots
or
up
anything.
through the raft and just sucks them down through it. I was like, nope,
Yeah.
I'll take a
When he
break.
goes to try to get that girl up and she raises up off the raft and half of her face is gone. I was like, oh my
Yeah. Oh my
Jesus.
god, that's so
Uh,
good.
yeah.
I think
And
it's
I did,
funny that Scream Factory is releasing the third one on
oh yeah.
Blu-ray.
Yeah. It's
It's
exclusive to their site too for
yeah, it's so
$30.
bad.
I've never seen it. I don't
No,
have any
it's
intention of seeing it. I've heard
it literally
such
is
bad
like
things.
if like your buddies made a creep show movie in high school, that's literally what it is. It's so bad.
Yeah, and I'm not picking that up for $30, and you're not even gonna
No.
do anything. You're not even gonna give me a slipcover. Like, Give me a
No,
break.
it's bad.
Like if Vinegar Syndrome put it out with some really cool packaging and a bunch of special features, I might get it.
Yeah,
Maybe. But
because I
like
mean,
just that
even
Blu-ray case, come on.
even like the old school, I think the Blu-ray or whatever that came out, it was just bare bones. It's literally just the movie and like 3 special features.
Yeah. When did that one came out way later, didn't it?
Yeah, it came out in I think late '90s. I think.
Late 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard horrible things, so I did not pre-order that one. But
yeah. Nobody warned me, so I watched it, and I just regret watching it.
oh, awesome! They did a Creep Show 3.
Yeah,
What the
because
hell?
nobody mentions Creepshow 3 at all, and now I know
For good
why.
reason. But I only saw the first one when I got the Scream Factory when it
Yeah.
came out. That was the first time I grew up loving Creep Show 2, but I'd never seen the first one.
See,
And the
like
first one is definitely I love
yeah,
Creep Show 2, but the first one's definitely better to me.
like I mean, I love Stephen King. I have like 50 Stephen King books. Like I love George Romero. I will watch anything, any movie he puts out, and then of course Tom Savini. Like
Yeah,
there's so many big name actors in Creepshow that
yeah.
like they're like
Leslie Nielsen, Ted Danson, like it's
yeah,
crazy.
like
Adrienne
it's
Barbeau.
and literally that entire movie they were just like if you watch oh god I can't think of what it is. It's like basically the making of Creepshow. Like
Yeah,
it's
great features on that.
yeah,
Great
it's
features.
literally just like a 2 hour behind the scenes. It's amazing.
Yeah, Tom Atkins in the opening, and
Yeah,
I love the Stephen King segment though. With the
yeah,
meteor coming down and he's growing.
that's
That
meteor
reminds
shit.
me of Gremlins too, like when the Gremlin was growing all this like vegetables and stuff
Oh
on his
yeah, on
face.
his face and everything. Yeah, that show is so dark. That segment's so dark too because he ends up taking his own life because he just can't deal with it. Like
Yeah, yeah, it's
it
crazy.
turns.
Yeah, I'm very excited to watch that on 4K because I think it's gonna look. It's got such a cool style to it, like the comic book stuff they insert into it.
Oh yeah, like the EC stuff.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna look freaking awesome.
Plus Tom
Um,
Savini playing the creep. Like
yeah, yeah, that's amazing. That is amazing. All right, so let's get into the ultimate question: Are you a steelbook guy? Or are you a slipcover guy?
I was a steelbook guy for a solid 8 years probably. Like
Or are you a steelbook with the slipcover guy?
I see when I have like the plastic slips that I buy from Amazon. I don't know what they are, but
Yeah,
um so like a lot of my movies, especially my more like rare and out of print ones and all that, they'll have slip covers on them. But I mean now that I feel like steelbooks are getting up to like that 35 $40 range for every single steelbook that comes out, besides like, your old school Lionsgate movies and stuff like that.
yeah.
I'm slipcover all the way at that point. Like I'm not spending $40 just for a steelbook when I can get the same movie for $25.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not buying like the new release studio stuff for sure. Like I'll usually always
Yeah.
go slipcover on that, and in a lot of cases, I'll just wait till it goes on sale and won't even bother with it. But
Yeah, because I mean I have like I think last time I counted I had like maybe almost 600 steelbooks.
oh damn, you got a
Yeah.
good steelbook collection then. So
Yeah.
you've only stopped collecting them, I guess, recently.
I-
Kind
I'll
of made
still
that
buy them
decision.
here and there. Like I got the Flashdance steelbook,
Yeah,
but
how could you
again,
pass this up? I mean, and
yeah,
this was only $23. I mean, that's not a
that's
bad price for
that's
that.
what I'm saying. Like
That's not a
Lionsgate
bad
movies
price.
that are like even the new John Wick 4, I think is only $25 on 4K steelbook.
Lionsgate takes care of us. They
Yeah,
really do.
honestly, yeah.
They really do, for sure. All right, so do you do a lot of blind buying? Do you buy a lot of movies that you haven't seen before? Do you find it's
I
your regular
I
practice?
do and I don't. I try and tend to buy what I like and what I've already seen. But like
Yeah,
when it comes to like old school movies like from the 40s, 50s, 60s, stuff like that, if it's got a good upgrade or like they just put it out on 4K or out on Blu-ray for the first time,
like the
and I
Maltese Falcon, something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, like I've only seen bits and pieces of that movie, and so I was like, you know what, this movie's extremely old. I want to see all of what. I love seeing black and white 4Ks. I think they 98% of the time they look beautiful on 4K,
Yeah,
and so stuff like that, like old school movies, I'll pick up because I want to watch, and just because not a lot of people are going to watch movies from the 40s.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, black and white. Couldn't agree more. Like I'm so impressed with black and white on 4K. Like
Yeah.
I know some people kind of turn their nose up at it. They're like, "Oh, it doesn't have color. Why do you need that in 4K?" I was like, you just don't even
It,
know. Like
yeah.
until you see a good black and white movie.
Yeah, like To Kill a Mockingbird looked beautiful on 4K.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
might be the best black and white movie I've seen on 4K this far.
Yeah.
I thought Casablanca looked great, but I don't know. There's
Yeah.
something about Maltese Falcon. It was so like clean.
Yeah, it
Like
really
just
was,
every part of
honestly.
it. I was like, damn, like this looks good. Looks like better than some of the 4Ks they do of like movies in the 60s and 70s and stuff.
Honestly,
I
some
feel
of
like,
the 4K restorations look better than like the digitally shot movies that we get now.
oh yeah, yeah, I agree. It looked
Yeah.
like a movie that came out nowadays and they just put it in
Yeah.
black and white.
Like
Looked great.
2001: A Space Odyssey, that 4K upgrade literally looks like they shot it like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, 2001. Yeah, that looked
Hmm.
amazing. That looked amazing for sure.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that movie in a while. It's been a few years since I've seen it, but
Yeah.
um okay, so you find that's you do it every now and then, but only for a select number of movies. You don't
Yeah, like
make it a regular practice.
I'm not seeing a movie at Walmart for like $5 or $6 and going, hey, it might be good. Why not?
So saying that, getting into that, so that collection behind you, what percentage of that collection have you seen? The movies that you do blind buy, do you watch them immediately or do you leave them unwatched for a while?
For the
Which
most part, I try and watch them immediately. Um, but I would say maybe about 80 to 85% I've seen.
that's a good percentage.
Yeah.
That
There's
is a
like
good
that.
percentage. I'm
There's
like
like,
at probably 40 or 50% or something.
well, and some of those too is like the estate sale, the buy that I bought just a bunch of movies and box sets. I just
Yeah.
haven't gotten around to watching them. But, if they were $1, $2 4K movies, then I kind of picked them up. And yeah, if I don't get around to watching them or I don't want to watch them, then I'll just sell them and make a little bit of money off them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Do you shop at a lot of thrifting stores? Places like that? You do a lot of
Yeah.
Goodwill
San
huntings and
San
stuff like
Antonio has a lot of like there's a Bussey's, which is a flea market, and that thing's huge, especially just on the weekends. They have a Trader Village that's like in here in Houston, and it's if you ever look it up, it literally is like it's obnoxious. They have streets because the flea market's so big. Like
yeah.
they have Ferris wheels, they have like different carnival rides in there, and like that. I mean, there's
Nice. Have you done
yeah.
a video on that yet?
Yes, yeah, Trader Village actually there's a video on it's like they have old school gaming setups. They have like
Cool.
there's this guy that does they buy sculptures and stuff that people do handmade from Mexico and they actually ship them up here and he sells them in the shop. I have a
Yeah.
couple of them. I have Pennywise sitting over here staring at me.
Nice. That's awesome. So you're in a little like thrifting hotspot then.
Yeah, honestly, because I mean Austin's only maybe an hour and a half drive for me and that's it.
Yeah. Things have dried up a lot around here, it feels like. It feels like during the pandemic, I was, well, I'd say like late 2020, early 2021. I feel like I was cleaning up and found a lot of good stuff. But
Hmm.
here lately, I'll go to a Goodwill and I never find Blu-rays anymore, and all the DVDs are just the same old crap.
Yeah,
So
I find a lot of the Goodwills that I've gone to now, like there's certain they're really honestly, I go to Goodwill for books now more than anything.
yeah, you can find some good books. I used to do some book shopping when I went to Goodwill.
Yeah, because I mean you'll
So
get them for like $2.
I was into collecting novelizations there for a little bit. If I found a movie, didn't matter what movie it
Yeah,
was. If it was a novel, I remember I grabbed like Hunter Killer, the novelization, just random crap. I was like, why am I buying this? I was like, anything that was movie adaptation, I would buy. If it was in good condition, I would get. But
yeah,
one time I went to a Goodwill and I found like 10 hardback in great condition Stephen King books.
yeah.
And I
Honestly you
nabbed
can find
all of
them.
them
Yeah,
for like, I think they charged me $2 a piece or something, but they were in great condition. So,
yeah,
um, you can definitely find some good stuff there from time to time in pawn shops and places like that. Do you do a lot of Dollar Tree hunting?
For some reason, it seems like every Dollar Tree here has
Do
the
you have any
exact
luck?
same DVDs, and they've
Yeah.
had those DVDs for like 5 years.
Yeah, I think they're getting desperate now because they're trying to clear out their stock because they put them down to 50 cents.
Yeah, like
Um,
I have better like Big Lots stuff like
yeah.
that, like Dollar General, I think it is. They're
I
putting
used to
some
have a
more
lot of
stuff
luck
out.
with Dollar General, and they won't put anything new
Yeah,
in their
Big
stock
Lots.
either.
There's like 5 or 6 Big Lots in San Antonio, and there was only one that put like their new like little stand out in the middle of the aisle, had like a bunch of different Blu-rays, and they had a couple 4Ks honestly. So I went there
Yeah.
and picked up a couple things, made a TikTok about it, but like other than that, I really don't find anything at those shops anymore.
Yeah, I used to go to Dollar General all the time. That was a pretty good spot, but
Yeah,
here lately, it's just they never put anything new out. It's just always the same stuff. So
yeah,
I'm either missing it or they're just not putting it out because now the gap between me going is a lot longer than it used to be.
yeah. I used to, especially my girlfriend used to live kind of right down the street from one, so I'd like swing by, look over there, and then go. And it's just
Yeah.
at that point in time, it was like, no, I mean, they've had the same, 3 movies for
Did you
that
ever
year.
take advantage? Do you remember the glitch sale
Mm-mm.
that they had? So there was like 2 movies for $5, but when you went to check out, like there was some kind of glitch in the computer system that made it basically 4 movies for $5. So it
Oh,
like
then yeah.
it
Okay, I
halved
did.
them and
Okay.
then it halved them again. So it would
Yeah.
make all the
Okay.
movies $1.25. I picked up like 70 Blu-rays during that time period because it was like I think a week and a half long,
Yeah.
and I would just keep going to like every Dollar General, and I was just cleaning up.
That's funny.
I got a lot of stuff, and like a lot of good stuff too, like some good movies for $1.25.
They used to put out a lot of good stuff and had like their stock rotating, but I don't know.
Yeah,
It seems like this past like 6 to 8 months, maybe even a year, nothing.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Do you buy only 4K Blu-ray, or do you still buy some DVDs from time to time?
I don't think I've bought a DVD in God knows how long. I think I only have like 5 DVDs total, besides like the DVD Blu-ray combo kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like I think the only DVD that I have and I've watched this before they upgraded it to Blu-ray was Heavyweights.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Other than that, yeah, I mean I
If I'm in a
99.8%.
Goodwill and I see a DVD for a movie I know doesn't have a Blu-ray, I'll grab it. I'll grab it. But
Yeah,
that's the only case nowadays.
I'm weird and I hate how DVDs fit on the shelf and I always have to put them sideways up on the top
I
here.
just throw all mine in the closet over there. They're not even displayed on the shelf anymore.
That's
I
fair.
don't have room for them out here, so I just threw them in there.
I mean, honestly, I have a closet full of basically just like stuff that I switch out here now. Like I have
Yeah,
some comic books, NECA, all that jazz in there. So
yeah. I
maybe I'll
got a
just
lot
start
of
throwing it in there.
my Killer Clowns guns in there, and some of my
Yep.
pops. I just didn't have the room for it anymore. I had to move some of the stuff out.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Does the format really matter to you? Or are you if it has a 4K, you're going to get the 4K, or are you good buying the Blu-ray sometimes? Does it depend
For
on the movie?
Yeah, it depends on the genre, honestly. Because like a comedy, do I need a 4K? Do I need to see Step
Yeah,
Brothers on 4K? Probably not. So like action movies, old school movies, stuff like that.
like Daddy's Home 2 comes out on 4K and Blu-ray. You're gonna grab the Blu-ray before you grab the 4K, right?
I don't think I'm buying it at all, actually.
That's
But
the
yeah,
right
like,
answer.
but that's what I'm saying. Like certain movies, if I can pick up a Blu-ray of a comedy for like $4, then yeah, I'm definitely gonna get that instead of like a $20 4K.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into what are some wish list Blu-ray and 4Ks that you would like to see come out? What are some movies that you need on Blu-ray or 4K?
Well, I
Like
first and
today.
foremost, since we have Creepshow, I want Creepshow 2 on 4K.
I agree. And re-release the same hard box. Arrow loves to do that. They're just
Yes,
re-releasing everything now. So do that with Creepshow too. So I
I
can
need
give them a second chance.
Dawn or Day of the Dead on 4K.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they have not done that one yet.
Yeah,
Really
I
surprised.
I need Night of the Living Dead on 4K. The old or the newest one with
The
like
90 one,
yeah with
uh,
what is this, Dennis Quaid or Dennis Hopper as
the
like the
one,
villain.
is that the one Tom, I haven't seen the remake. Is that the one Tom Savini did?
No, well Tom Savini did Night of the Living Dead in either 90 or 91,
90. Yeah.
and yeah, and that was like the remake that George Romero put his stamp on. But I'm talking about I think it's still
Is there
called Night of
another
the
one?
Living Dead. Yeah, it came out in late 2000s. It was actually directed by Romero, and
Oh,
it
okay.
was it was supposed to be a continuation of Day of the Dead. So like the zombies in this, they're dumb, but they start to learn and pick up things. So like
Are you talking about Land of the Dead?
yes, there we go. Yeah,
Okay, okay. That's
yeah,
the one with John Leguizamo?
yeah.
Yeah.
So like I want
I remember that one.
anything on 4K that Romero
I think
touches.
Scream Factory do Land of the Living Dead? They did that
Yes,
one, didn't they?
yeah, they did a
Yeah.
Blu-ray copy of it. Yep.
Yeah, I don't see them not, redoing Romero's stuff
I mean,
for sure.
once you get past that movie though, like when you get like Diary of the Dead, they're not as good. So
I think
I
I've
don't
seen Diary of the Dead.
yeah, so I don't see them putting all of them on there, but at least as long as they get to Land of the Dead, because I feel like
I'll
that's the
be
last movie.
honest, I have not seen Day of the Dead. I haven't seen it. I've seen Dawn a long time ago. I need to rewatch that one.
I'll
But
tell
I
you
have not seen
this:
Day.
Dawn of the Dead is like my second favorite horror movie of all time. Really, just like in top five of all time. I just love the
Yeah, I
trilogy.
got this beautiful second sight 4K back here, but I have not
It's
watched it.
it's so
Never
beautiful.
watched it.
The transfer looks fantastic too.
Yeah, I need to check that one out like sooner rather than
But
later. I've been
Day
waiting
of
for
the
the right opportunity to do it.
yeah, I mean Day of the Dead is literally like it's so over the top because it's like Tom Savini, and they told Tom Savini, whatever you want to do it. Like there's people
Yeah.
getting torn in half. The zombies look more like horrible and grotesque. Like
I've
it's
heard people say that they like it better than Dawn of the Dead. Would you say that's blasphemous to say?
I honestly, I mean it's right there with Dawn of the Dead, but I've watched Dawn of the Dead so many times, especially when I was younger, that like because I Dawn of the Dead seems like a more tamer version of a zombie movie, but once you get to Day of the Dead, like the grotesqueness, the gore, the blood, everything, like this dude's getting ripped apart and he's yelling for the zombies to choke on it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Have you seen Lucio Fulci's Zombie? You seen that one?
I feel terrible for saying this, but no, I have not.
All right, I've seen that, and that's my favorite zombie movie now. Is
I've
that
been
one?
told by I don't even know how many people that I need to watch that, and I keep thinking to myself, Blue Underground's got it on sale. I'm gonna
Get
pick it
that
up.
4K. I think they got a sale right now.
Yeah, that yeah, I think I'm probably gonna go on Amazon
Get
after
that
this. And
4K because it's one of the best 4Ks that I've ever seen.
yeah,
It looks fantastic, and the movie is so crazy with the
yeah.
zombie action.
Oh, believe me,
Um,
yeah, I've been told.
and I don't know if you're into Italian horror movies, like if you're getting into Dario Argento and stuff like that. There's a
Yeah,
style to it that
yeah,
you may throw you off a little bit, um, but it doesn't skimp on the gore. The zombies look great, like it's just some of the best zombie effects I've seen.
yeah.
And I don't want to spoil it. There's a part in the movie that you're going to be like, "What the am I watching right now? This is crazy, but it's the most awesome thing I've ever seen in my life." You'll have that moment. I'm not going to spoil it for you though,
Hey, I'm all for it. I
if
mean,
you don't know
have
it.
you seen Argento's cut of Dawn of the Dead?
No, no, I've only seen, and I've seen the movie. I probably watched it on TV when I was a kid or something. It's
Okay.
been that long since I've seen it.
Yeah, because Romero wanted to make it more like a
I just
upbeat.
remember it was in a mall,
Yeah,
and that's
like
all I can remember.
he wanted to make it like more of like an upbeat, like play on consumerism and stuff like that. But Argento, who was he was basically a producer. He gave him the money to do it. He got it, and he was like, I don't like all this, joking around and being funny and stuff like that. So his cut is strictly like all that comedy's pulled out, and it's more of like just a straight horror movie.
Is that on the second sight edition?
It is, yeah.
Okay,
There's the
I'll check out both.
Cannes Festival, the Romero cut or director's cut, and then Argento cut.
Yeah, I'll definitely check out both then when I finally get around to watching it. Okay, so is there any titles you want to see come to Blu-ray that haven't made the jump from DVD yet?
I don't know, because like I don't put a lot of effort into DVDs in general. So really, like if it's not a Blu-ray already, it's almost out of sight, out of mind. So I'm sure there's some certain movies like from my childhood that I've seen or that I
Surf
love.
Ninjas, baby. You gotta love Surf Ninjas, right?
I will. I don't
Three
think three.
Ninjas.
Yes, I don't think Three Ninjas has ever had a Blu-ray release, but if it
Yeah,
does, that's day one. I love that movie.
Three
I love
Ninjas.
the sequel too.
I tell you what, you're gonna have to jump on Vinegar Syndrome because if anybody's gonna do it, I think it's gonna be them.
Hey, I
I
mean,
just feel it in my bones. They're
if they
gonna do
put it
Three
out,
Ninjas
then I'll be a customer day
because
one.
they did Sidekicks. The little have you seen Sidekicks with Jonathan Brandis and Chuck Norris?
No.
So that's kind of falls in the same vein of like Three
Okay.
Ninjas and Surf Ninjas. So I feel like they'll do it if
Yeah,
anybody does it.
I used to watch that movie on repeat.
All right. So let's get into some. We're approaching, about an hour and a half. Let's get into some of my final questions for you before we get out of here. Why is physical media important to you? Why is owning movies physically important? When did you decide it was important? And then, why do you still do it today in the age of streaming?
I don't really know if there was like a turning point where like I thought to myself, I just need to own these movies because I need them. It's more or less like a lot of the time it's childhood memories or nostalgia that kind of brings me back to a lot of the older movies. But just owning them, I just I'm that type of collector. I have vinyl, I have video games, so I like to be able to just I mean maybe it sounds weird, probably not to collectors, but I like to just to be able to hold it in my hand and put the movie on. I mean, the 4K transfers look better and they have, a faster bit rate than streaming. And on top of that, like you never know when streaming is going to lose the contract to certain movies or certain TV shows and then they're just gone. Like Office was on Netflix for God knows how long and then Paramount was just like, no, it's ours. We're going to take it. And now it's just locked on Paramount and that's it, or Peacock or whatever they have.
Peacock, yeah.
So it's nice
Or
to be
they'll
able
just
to
take
walk
it
in
off
here.
there altogether, like Westworld is gone off
Yeah,
HBO Max.
yeah. So it's nice to be able to walk in here and go, oh hey, you want to watch this? All right, cool. And a lot of the times too, it's my girlfriend's never seen these movies and they're not on streaming because they're either old horror movies or like movies that not a lot of people are gonna want to watch anyways because they haven't seen them back when they were younger, and they're not on any streaming sites whatsoever. And we'll put a movie on, and maybe she likes it, maybe she doesn't, but she's never even heard of it until now.
Yeah. Yeah. All good points. All good points. Do you ever stream? Do you stream movies and TV? Do you have Netflix and all that stuff?
Oh yeah, I do. I actually every digital copy I put in for the most part, and I share my Vudu account with my family. So my family is lucky enough, like
They get everything you get, don't they?
yeah. So like my Vudu account literally has I think like 900 movies, 1,000 movies on there, and no, I'll text
They're
them
like,
be like,
what are we watching this week, Jeremy? We're
I mean,
watching Flashdance and
honestly,
Maltese Falcon and
that's it.
House of Thousand Corpses.
I told my mom actually about the Maltese Falcon and then Cool Hand Luke, and she goes, "All right, cool. Are they on Vudu yet?" And I was like,
Yeah,
"All right, give me a second. I'll put it out there."
that's funny. Yeah, I've thought about doing that myself. I give away a lot of mine, but I was like, it would be nice to have a backup.
Yeah,
Just if I was being lazy one night and didn't feel like getting up to put it in or something, I'll
yeah.
watch it on the Vudu account.
Well, it's nice too. I'm actually I whenever I fly, and I'm flying to Florida actually next week for work, and you can on my Vudu account you can download the movies onto your phone and literally just watch movies on your phone, and because they're technically yours.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, yeah, that is true.
But it's if you got the physical to back it up, then you feel good about it. You don't feel bad about it. Yeah, but yeah, I definitely have Netflix, all the streaming services, except for Disney Plus. I canceled that. It's just I'm just not into that stuff anymore.
You don't watch The Mandalorian?
I'm just coming to the realization that it's like I was trying to hold on to my childhood, and I just can't watch it anymore. It's too much.
Yeah, that's true.
There's like 18 Star Wars shows to catch up with. What got me was I can't just watch The Mandalorian. I gotta watch Boba Fett, and I didn't like Boba Fett.
Yeah, that is true because it like intertwines.
And I never finished it, but apparently people said it got better, and I should have finished it.
Honestly,
but I didn't.
To be fair, the last 2 episodes of Boba Fett is literally just Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's what people told me. So,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, shit, I got to go watch that to watch The Mandalorian. It's like I just don't have time for all this. But I've been
Yeah.
hearing the new season of Mandalorian isn't that good. I don't know if
It's
you can say that or not, but
it's not bad. There are a couple like filler episodes that seem like the only reason that episode was made because the last 10 minutes something happens to progress the plot.
yeah. So it's like I don't want to see that. I don't want
Yeah.
to see it fall off because I think the first two seasons are like as perfect Star Wars that you're going to get in the modern era.
Yeah.
Probably the best stuff since the original trilogy. And I love that final episode of The Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah.
I feel like I just want to leave it at that. And that's my memory of the show.
That's fair.
But I'll probably watch it at some point. I'll try to catch up or something. And
I
just
mean, plus now you got to watch Ahsoka, which is coming.
I watched the trailer for that. It looks really cool. And I love,
Yeah.
Thrawn. I used to read those books and stuff back in the day. So
Yeah, they
I want to
let,
watch it. But
let's just say stuff that happens in Ahsoka is kind of being started in Mandalorian.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's smart. People that are into it, that people to watch all the shows and stuff and be into it. And it's cool. Like, I'm not going to hate on it. There's a lot of people that are fans of it. And if I
I
was
mean,
younger, I'd be eating it all up,
they gotta do all their universe things just like how MCU is the thing.
Yeah. And then you got Marvel has 18 shows every year. And I
Yep.
tried to watch the first few Falcon, Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and Loki. And then I just kind of fell off of that. So
Yeah.
it's like, I can't keep up with you guys anymore. And I just canceled it because I was looking for streaming services to get rid of. It was just like getting ridiculous. I'm paying like
I mean, yeah,
$100 a month on all these services. What am I actually like sitting down to watch, like with the family, with the wife? It's
yeah,
HBO Max, Netflix. We watch Peacock and
yeah. I mean, I haven't
pretty
had
much it.
cable in like 14 years, and it's because it was so expensive to have cable, and now you're paying, like 80 to 100
Yeah.
bucks, 120 bucks on certain things, and you're basically just cable all over again.
And you can always let shows stock up on a certain streaming service, and when you're ready, subscribe to it for a few months, then cancel
Yeah.
it right after. I'm trying to be more mindful about like what's coming out, what am I interested in, and
I mean, I used to do
trying to
that.
cancel and restart
I still do that with
appropriately.
Netflix with Stranger Things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that show I don't think will be back to like 2025 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't even think they started
Netflix
filming
has
it
good
yet.
stuff on it sometimes. I'm watching a show that's produced by A24 called Beef right now. That's
Yeah,
got
A24 has been branching off on certain streaming sites
it's
too.
got Glenn from The Walking Dead in it. I'm
Yeah,
forgetting his name off the top of my head. Stephen Yoon.
yeah, I've
It's a
heard,
good show.
I've heard, or I've seen like trailers and like random clips of it here and there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good show.
It's
So they'll
on
do
Netflix.
stuff like it's on Netflix. Yeah.
Okay,
So every now and then they'll drop a show I'm interested in. So I keep them around.
yeah, that's
HBO
fair.
Max is my go-to though. Like
Oh
that
yeah,
is the best movie selection. And Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, Last of Us we just watched, and
yeah. I mean,
I
I'm
feel
a
like
huge Doctor Who fan, and they have all of the Doctor Who's. So
they got a lot of good classic movies on there as well. So
yeah,
that's a
and they
good
have
that's probably the best streaming service to me.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air too.
Fresh Prince, man, it's great stuff on there. All right, we'll do this last question. What's your thoughts? I feel like this is a good question to end on. What's your thoughts on the state of physical media today? Is it healthy, or is it ending anytime soon?
I would say it's probably the healthiest it's been in a long time. Not necessarily because we're getting so many new movie releases,
Yeah,
but they're gearing it towards more people that are okay with paying $30 to $40 for a Scream Factory 4K release or Arrow Video or Criterion 4K box set. They know it's almost like they know their market for the most part. I mean, maybe not Sony too much, but
yeah,
for the most part, it seems like they know who's going to buy it and what they're going to buy. So like we're getting these random Blu-ray releases of certain movies like Silent Night and or not whatever's the new I can't remember what it's called, the Santa Claus movie with the guy from Stranger
uh,
Things.
Violent Night, Violent
There it
Night,
is.
Violent Night.
But like certain movies like that, they know like we'll put it out there, we'll put it on Blu-ray, and that's all you guys get. But then of course we're getting like all of the Child's Play on 4K and all of the box sets of Halloween movies. Like people are going to eat that up because
Yeah.
They know people love those movies. There's a huge market for it. So why not put out a huge box set and, we'll pay a premium. I'm not paying 90 to $100 for those last three movies, but either way, I'm still jaded about Walmart.
You don't want Seed of Chucky on 4K with some
God,
nice Seed of Chucky pins for
yeah,
an
and
extra $50.
the sex scene, and yeah, I don't think I need all of that, but for the most part, I think it's extremely healthy. It's just some people see it as like, oh, Best Buy's getting rid of a lot of their sections and stuff like that. But you got to think Amazon, you can get almost anything from
Well, we're
there.
moving to an online market,
Yeah, like
and that's not just with physical media; it's with a lot of stuff.
but then that opens up a lot to boutique labels because Best Buy, Target, Walmart for the longest time, that's where you were getting your stuff from, and that was it. But now this gives you, they can lower the cost on certain things because they could just ship it straight to you. They don't have to pay an extra premium to get it on a Walmart shelf. So it's opened up a whole new world of collecting and special editions and steelbooks. And there's so many releases of different movies that you can kind of pick and choose. Oh, cool. I like the artwork for this one, or I like that this is a steelbook, or I like the big chunky box set that Arrow's giving me. And you have a lot of options.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I've seen some of the older stuff that's been put out. There were some really cool DVD editions back in the day. Some really cool ones that I've
Yeah.
seen for sure.
Like, I mean, even
And mainstream ones that you could buy at Target and Walmart.
the Nightmare on Elm Street box set up here, like that.
Yeah, it was awesome. Awesome.
How long did that go or come out? And that's still the best box set we have for those movies.
But I have to say, we're getting some of the best stuff that I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, especially they're pulling a lot of like behind the scenes stuff.
I've never been so in tune with collecting like I am now. Like I've always collected movies, but like not like I'm doing it right now. Like it's just completely different.
Yeah, so. It's a big market, but they know who they're selling to.
Yeah. For sure, man. But look, we're at the end. World's Biggest Collectors, episode 53 with Media Galore. Thank you so much, man, for joining me on this episode. And look, before we get out of here, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you at and what you're all about over there, what you got coming up, if anything,
Well, like you said before, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I
will have all those links down below.
I have a Facebook account as well. That kind of intertwines with my Instagram. So everything that posts on one goes to the other, either Media Galore or Media Galore 17, because, I think somebody took Media Galore on Instagram or something like that.
Bastards.
I mean, it's weird that everything else is Media Galore, and then there's one that's 17. I think it's Instagram, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever I enjoy is coming up. I mean, I just bought Flashdance, so we'll get a 4K versus Blu-ray on that one. I really think I'm interested
to see what you think about it, but I really thought Flashdance looked great.
I did like 4K. The what you put on your Instagram story where the seizure alert again from Poltergeist.
It wasn't on here.
Yeah, it looked
but it was like intense.
It was
felt like it was worse than Poltergeist. Did you watch it yet?
No, not yet. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
Okay. I thought it looked great. I know some people are kind of down on Paramount sometimes with their transfers, but like this is a good one. To me, like I thought it looked great.
Yeah.
The Paramount Presents one looked really good too, to be fair.
I love all the old movies that are just getting like basically reincarnated, because when's the last time anybody talked about Flashdance until now that it came out on 4K?
Yeah, it's awesome, and it brings these movies back into the cultural zeitgeist, and we're all talking about them again. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Really cool. That's why I love physical media so much, because it's introducing me to all these freaking awesome movies. Now, some aren't so awesome. Like when I watch something like Bubba Hotep.
Wow, you had to put that in here.
I didn't love that one. But for the most part, like I get some enjoyment out of everything I watch.
I agree. Even if it's like, it's not the best movie, there's still certain things that are enjoyable about almost every movie. Almost every movie.
Almost, except for Bubba Hotep. It's the only one. But look, everybody, we appreciate you watching. Like I said, subscribe to Media Galore. His link is down below in the description. Follow him on Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Like this video. Leave us a comment down below. You know, what did you think of our conversation? If you have anything to comment on what we talked about here today, definitely comment down below. And we will see you guys later.